Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursalin. Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam.
Alhamdulillah, thank you for all the condolences sent to me on behalf of my cousin, Ustaz Syed Hashim and his family. And of course, he's also a cousin of Syed Mahadar bin Shahab. This is my cousin from my father's side, my father's elder brother's son, who passed on today. I think they will have to bury him tomorrow because it's quite late when they notified about his death. Actually, he's been very sick for quite some time because the late father was a scholar here in Singapore, well-known scholars, Ustaz Syed Abdurrahman Al-Kaf, and this is his children. Two of the sons took over the father in the same line like myself. That is Ustaz Syed Mohsen. He's based in Brunei, and the other one is Ustaz Syed Hashim. This is just a freelance Ustaz like me. Not many people knows them. Ustaz Syed Mohsen at one time was when he was still in Singapore. Although he comes back, he's not a PR of Bruneian, but he still works with the Prime Minister office, or rather the Sultan office, Sultan National Bukia office, as one of the advisors, so to say. I don't know whether he's now in town or not, because you know the COVID, right? So the family is already quite big. There are 17 of them. So we haven't get any invitation from one of either any of the family members due to COVID. But nonetheless, let us recite Shoutul Fatiha. May Allah Ta'ala put his soul among the pious. Al-Fatiha ila hadithil hadith Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Summa ila arwahi man istama'na hahuna bisababihim. Summa ila al-marhum Syed Haidar bin Syed Abdurrahman Al-Kaf. Anna Allah yataghashahum birahmati. Wa ila hadithil habib Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Al-Fatiha. A'udzu billahi minasy syaithanir rajim. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Alhamdulillah, thank you, brothers and sisters in Islam. Now let us continue on topic of the life of prayer and its internal state. So of course there are many words signifying the life of a prayer. Prayer is supposed to be living or alive, Humility of mind, understanding what is said, honor, hope, and shin. Okay, this is what you can, when you want to talk about the life of a prayer and the internal condition. So the meaning of humility is the presence of heart. Brothers and sisters in Islam, I know that this is not something that you can do within our own capacity in terms of the action. In terms of the understanding, I believe that it's very clear here that it talks about the presence of the heart. Sometimes people find it difficult to understand because the heart is in your body, right? So you may have that thoughts to think that you are already present. What they meant here is the action, the word are the same in the heart. That's what they meant by the presence of the heart. Okay, the word and the action are the same, and there is no other thought. So this where is where why you need to come back to class, because sometimes our physical heart is present, our body is there, the actions are done, the word is being said, but the heart is not present. I don't know how can we simplify that. Unless if you don't understand, please question. If you don't, if you didn't, then I will continue. I take it like you already understood what is being said. So further you can see there, it says that when there is no other thought, because sometimes the heart, maybe the physical heart is there, but the mind, the mind, the heart has a mind too, and it doesn't focus on what is being said. It's only the bodily movements and then the mumbling or murmuring of words, but the heart is not present. The heart doesn't capture what is being recited. The other thing is, of course, there is sincerity is needed, sincerity and intense conviction. Then only you can rest assured that you are praying with your body and your heart, or in other words, with your mind and soul. That is what the life of prayer and the internal state is. Then when the heart is not present in the prayer, so what happens here? It does not remain idle, but it concentrates on the thoughts of the worldly affairs. I think most of us or some of us may have went through this. It will always happen or occur that is when you lose something and when you're doing the prayer is where you remember. It comes back. So this is what it means by your heart is not present. You does not remain idle, but then you concentrate on other things. The thoughts of the worldly things that comes because it is an immediate concern. And as you know, in our previous lesson, we have learned that the hadith, whoever makes the world his most important matter, Allah will confound his affairs and make poverty appear before his eyes. So this is what happened to some of us. That's why we hurry in our prayer, because we fear that it will affect our job and this and that. And it's due to because of Allah have confound the affairs and make poverty appear before that person's eyes, and he will not get anything from the world but what has been decreed for him, no matter what. This is solely only for a believer, meaning a Muslims. But a non-Muslim is different. They will totally be given what they want in the worldly matter. That's why you can see they drive big cars, they live in big houses, big bungalows, landed property, having more than one car in some, especially in my area here. Some of the houses you can see opposite the Japanese school, those are landed property, where you see uh, two, 3 stories landed property where one unit you can see they have a few cars as an example. So for the non-Muslim, they believe they don't want to be believing in God. So normally if God were to confound their affairs, nothing will be. It's not a loser for them. They will normally they get what they want. But unlike the Muslim, as what is being mentioned here, you will not get much of the world also. Because why? You are still a believer. There is a very thin line for us to know whether that person is still a Muslim or not. You can't detect this because this is about iman, and iman is something that you can't show. People will not be able to tell, or to judge, because it is inside. It's not external. It's internal. That's what we are discussing now is all the internal state, and this is where the focus, or rather a place where Allah will check. So as mentioned in this hadith, whoever makes the hereafter his most important matter, Allah will settle his affairs and make him content in his heart, and the world will come to him, although he does not want it. See, even if you don't want also, if you are concerned of the hereafter, and if you put the hereafter as the foremost, the most important matter, if you put it in front, then Allah will settle his affairs. This is what, in line again with the other verse of the Quran in Surah At-Talaq, many times I've been reading and repeating it. وَمَن يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ مَخْرَجًا. That's why in this verse Allah promised. It's a promise. And it's not just a promise that we, like us, how we make promise. Because when we make promise, we will break our promise. But Allah did not break his promise. So Allah assured us in Surah At-Talaq that if you can reach the level of being a pious, right, then your worldly matter will be taken care by Allah. Allah will settle. That's what it means in that surah. Allah says, وَيَرْزُقُهُ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ. I will provide you. I will settle your affairs. You don't even know how it has been done, but for all you know that everything is being taken care of. That doesn't mean that you become a millionaire or tycoon or whatever. No. It's all the basic things that Allah knew what human wants, that without which they will never be, they will never be happy. So that's what this hadith is telling us. Now, take an example. You ask yourself a question, okay, and tell me the answer. If you ask yourself a question, you are given an offering here. Okay, listen to me. Allah is making an offering to you. You want to live in this world up to the age of 100 years old. As you know, most of us today, and even the Guinness World Record, no one crossed over 100 years old. Right? No one crossed. Even if you reach that, you know that these people are normally, suffering from dementia, senile, and this and that, isn't it? So take it like now you get that kind of offer. You live up to 100 years old. Okay? Within this 100 years of your age, you get whatever you want. An example, you want a landed property, you want a Jaguar, you want a Lamborghini, or you want landed, you want whatever you want within these 100 years. Of course, it doesn't come like magic. Tomorrow it doesn't become rich for the non-Muslim, as you know. They are surrounded us. I mean, they are in our surrounding, right? You can see that they strive. They have to still strive in order for them to be able to drive a Porsche, or to live in landed property or condominiums or whatever, right? But like I said just now, it is only for 100 years of age. If you are not a believer, you don't believe in him, but you want all the worldly things, because you already know this is what, when you start making an evaluation, that when you talk about the means and the want, and this is what you see and this is what you get, most of us, right? And the other offer that Allah is giving you for one of us only, one of you, the reward, as what this matter, if you put the hereafter in the forefront, right, then Allah will make the hereafter most important. So Allah will settle these affairs and make him content, which means to say that the paradise that is mentioned, if you want to be comparing to even a villa given to here in the context of this world, It's non-comparable because the science of find paradise is already uh, like the world and like you know 7 layers of the heaven and 7 layers of the earth. That big for you. So tell me, which one will you choose? Hello, are you all with me?
The big one.
Sorry, which one you choose?
The big one, Ustaz.
The second one.
Yes.
Then you are very wise. If you were to, you have to be serious in making this comparison. If you don't make this comparison, then this internal states will not be there. For sure, for sure. That is why again yesterday in my class I share with the student, to make them understand, and that is again the reason why I keep on repeating. It's not actually coming from me. That be careful if you were to just fulfill your obligation and focusing only on Rukun Islam is just too simple. It's just too simple. Okay? So it's up to you. So let's move on now. So we must have a firm belief. You see, it talks about the belief again here. It talks about the article of faith instead of the practice, instead of Rukun Islam. You have to have a firm belief that prayer is a stepping stone. So that's why it has to be done, you know, in a very I don't know, I don't see much of uh, something that is really heavy, something that what do you think? What is your comment on this? Is it something that you find it so heavy, it's so difficult, until you dare to be later saying that why God is so fussy? Even if to answer that, He has the right to be fussy because what He's giving you is not just what you are aiming for. Okay? It's not what you're aiming for. He's giving you beyond. And He has already mentioned that you cannot be comparing my Jannah with whatever that you have in this world. Because whatever that you have in this world is made by you. Okay? And Jannah, as we already know, this is again in the Rukun Iman. It is not something that you have tried, you have tasted, you have seen. You have not. See, this is why that should give you, that will drive you wanting to get what you are longing for. So that's why you have to have the internal state to have that understanding. Otherwise, then you will just think that prayer is not so great as the way it should. So prayer is just a stepping stone to the next world, which is the everlasting. So this is where again when you compare, you only get to live 100 years, and normally once you reach 60, like my age already, everything is getting weaker and weaker, and you start losing this, you start losing your strength, you start losing your appetite, you don't sleep well, and this and that. 60 is already like that. So even if you reach 100, Allah, it's a waste of time. Okay? If you still continue, it's just a waste of time. It's of no use, lah, so to say. So better start realizing this and make it beneficial, whatever the balance of our age, to be doing the right thing so that we will gain something in the next world. Because the difference is what you have here, the most you live up to 100 years of it. You can be having very expensive car, you may be having very expensive watches, very expensive PC or even laptop or whatever, right? but it is not everlasting. All of us know that. Because we are buried king, we are buried prince, we are buried normal people, they don't bring anything with them, isn't it? So that clearly shows that, you see, what a waste if they have bought something, especially like in the context of our society, we bought a house, the house doesn't belong to us, you cannot pass it to the next generation. As an example, what a waste that you spend, 100,000, 300,000 to buy a flat where you knew that, but it's just so difficult to make people understand. There's nothing that actually you can cling on to this world. Of course, that doesn't mean that you don't have to have a house. That is not true. But to make you realize that you shouldn't be thinking of it and feeling that you are the owner of it. You are not the owner. No one is the owner. The owner is still Allah. Okay? And lastly, the presence of the heart is also again when one has realized that the world is a temporary place. This is what you're going to get. And as again from the very beginning, I've already remind you, or cannot be that if you have done it properly, you can't see the last paragraph here. You can't see that the world is a temporary place and you are still going for it, over time, work 24/7, this and that. So at the end of the day, you're not going to get anything, you're not going to bring anything, you're going to lose everything because it is not meant for you to be living. It is meant for you, like you are a tourist, temporarily when you are in that country that you're visiting, to buy the necessary things, shop souvenirs and whatever, and after that you should be on your way back. That is exactly what it is supposedly to be, isn't it? So the presence of the heart is gained when one has realized that the world is a temporary place and it is insignificant. Right? Can you understand? Any question? Silent knows. Can we move on? So understanding is to engage. This is where in the verse of Surah Al-Bayna, خَلَقَ الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. The word ahsan is because of the intellect. And this is the only important things that Allah have created in us. Because it's through the intellect is where we understand. Through the intellect is where we recognize things and we understand things. We understand the meaning of whatever is being said, whatever has need to be done. So you see, the intellect is so important. That's why the Quran will always be depicted at the end of every most of the chapters. You find the word "afala ta'qilun," "afala yashkurun," "afala yatadabbarun." These are Allah posed a question asking you to ponder, to use the intellect to understand the meaning of whatever that you are doing. So the medicine to removing various random thoughts which come into the heart in prayer is to cut the root or remove the reason which caused these thoughts. This is the focus of the book Ihya Ulum, that Imam Ghazali's work. It's tremendous, and so many modern scholars, contemporary scholars like Sheikh Hamza Yusuf and many more who have understood his writings, his intellectualism, his brilliant. You see, this is where they start reading his book and find that, he is no match to anyone in our time. If you were to read more about his book. And lastly, he said here, whoever loves a thing, remember the thing. This is our nature, isn't it? We have that memory bank at the back of our mind that store and we remember. So whoever loves things, other than Allah is not free from diverse thoughts in the prayer. So it's not really that difficult, isn't it? As mentioned earlier, you just need to remove these other things that you love so much, that are so dearer to you. That's what you want. You can't live without it. You know, when you are doing the prayer, you need to remove those things. Remove those things, and just instill in your mind, in your heart, that Allah. Then the prayer will be free from diverse thoughts. Nothing will come in. So that is the reason why, again, I keep on reminding you of Surah Al-A'raf, verse 179. Remember? وَلَقَدْ ذَرَأْنَا لِجَهَنَّمَ كَافِرًا مِنَ الْجِنِّ وَالْإِنسِ. Because this verse reminds us of, be careful, or otherwise you will be thrown into Jahannam. Because you have a heart, but you didn't use that heart accordingly. You have an eyes, but you didn't see the internal of what is hidden, and you have a ear, but you are just becoming deaf and dumb. Be careful of these things. Of course, it's something that you can't visualize. Sometimes when you study this kind of subject, it puts you to sleep. It makes you feel, this will start. Like he have go through or not. It's something, this is common. Normally this kind of thing will happen when you start talking about internalization. When you want to internalize things, because of your iman is so weak, so your body, the response of the mind becomes very weaker. You find that sometimes you can even hear people criticize, like teachers are sometimes talk things that they start using common sense, where this kind of thing cannot use common sense. This have to use faith. You have to use your belief system. So that's where your iman have to somewhere up there. Then you're beginning to feel these things will provide you the reasoning. Okay? Any questions so far? It's quite clear, right? Okay, let's move on, boss. Then honor is the state of the heart again, which is born out of knowing two things. We are honored, and we are honored creature of God. If only you have the knowledge of the glory of Allah, then your heart will be honored state. So this is the root of faith. And then the other one is thinking of oneself as helpless and insignificant. This is where you feel very honored, because it's very true, isn't it? Sometimes, at my age, body is aching everywhere, you know. Medicine is not going to help, even supplement, whatever human have discovered, and the best is go back to Him. Start glorifying Allah. Start doing the zikr. For all you know, then the energy start coming back without you realizing it. Sometime before I start the class, that's how I felt. Sometimes, body aching everywhere. Eat food also, maybe thought that stomach is empty, feeding something, but then it doesn't go away. The moment I start the class, the energy comes back. You see, this is the knowledge, glory of Allah, and of course I know to think of myself, I'm so helpless and I'm really insignificant. So through this knowledge of these two things, helplessness, modesty, and fear of Allah will arise. Because you know that you are helpless, as a result of which then reverence of Allah arises in our heart. This is how the prayer becomes lively, and the internal state are like a radar, moving, and remembering of yourself as being so helpless. Well, I mean, it's just a question of whether you want to ponder upon or not. If you don't, then you will not be able to see all these things. Right? We are ordinary human beings. And like I said, that you don't have to have a diploma to understand a very simple practice what is being said here. You don't have to have a degree. All you have to do is submissively. You know? You have to really submit yourself and know Allah, glorify Him. Nothing will stand in your way, no matter whatever and that you are looking for, it will come to you. And this require, like I said, it requires time. Sometimes it's when you grow older and then you're beginning to see and think that you know everything, whatever that you do, you know, there's a limit to it. When you come to a certain age, then you only realize that Allah Akbar, you know, I'm beginning to lose this, I'm beginning to lose that. This is what happened to many of us. So that's why we try to develop this at this stage for those who are younger than us. Hopefully it will help, and then you start making your plans and move on from there. Okay? Any question? Well, I don't want to make it like sound, although I still hear that people are not quite happy with me because of what I'm reading to you. But then if you didn't speak up, and I go straight away to the topic base and blah 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 and move on, and then you keep on changing books, you're going higher and higher. But brothers and sisters in Islam, just do the check on yourself, you know, how far, you know, especially for those who have been with me for many years. Check it out, check yourself, see whether is there a change in you or not. You know? It is not for you to share with me. No, no. I'm just saying that that's why I try my best to slow things down and open up. I'm opening up to you uh, in hope that you know you would like to engage. Uh, you know, in this session, although we are not physically present there, but this is the best time actually you can share. Actually, you can say whatever you like. I'm not near you. Even if you want to go to the extent of scolding me and making me embarrassed with all the presence of the students here, it's okay with me. It's not a big deal. You know, I don't go for famous. I don't go for fame. I didn't ask you to pay. I didn't charge you, right? So that's why I'm not worried. You know, and even you don't feel like studying with me, it's okay because I don't go for, you know, like I have so many followers. It's of no use. It's of no use because it's not going to put me anywhere. And you're not the one that is going to give me the credit. The one that gives me the credit is Allah. And so that's why, like I said, you know, you may not like my style. It's a bit slow. It's a bit putting you to sleep, and it's not lively. It's not like a concert because I'm not a celebrity. You know, I'm not here to make you laugh and to make you admire me or praise me. That's not what study is all about. Okay, this is coming from the bottom of my heart. You know, if study, what I'm hoping is that Allah will allow me to touch your heart and open it up, and you put it into practice whatever that you learn and start engaging and asking more, because most of these books is in Arabic, you know, and what you're reading is English, so that's why not much of an argument, because it's clear language that is being used. It's English, communication English. You know, it's not bombastical English or scientific English where the words are not common, right? These are all the common words that is being used. So it's okay with me. I'm not like those who think of their status. So I'm not worried about that. You can call me by my name or whatever. But what is most important is to get you engaged in what is being presented me. Hopefully that you feel like you are motivated and you felt that you want to be knowing more, you want to be challenging, you want to be uh, going deeper, to understand. Okay? Any question?
No, Ustaz.
Okay, never mind. Now the fear here is again the state of the heart which result from knowledge of Allah's power. Okay? That's what the God fearing means. Because your heart knows how powerful this creator that we are talking about. You know that if you do goods, you will be rewarded, and if you do bad, not only Allah but even the civil law that will attend to you. Before even you will be punished by Allah, because again we didn't study even this subject on fake ukubat and jinayat. Fake ukubat and jinayat talks about the punishment of what you're going to get in the hereafter. Most of us didn't bother to even know what is the punishment. Or in other words, when you talk about the punishment, it's talking about hell. And we know in the article of faith, part of one of the what you need to be believing is to believe in the hereafter, to believe in heaven and hell, isn't it? And all these are there written and described. Again, is what God is doing in that book is not what you call it a threat. It's not threatening you and kind of like distorting, and demanding that if you don't obey me, I will punish you. It's not like that. It's not like that. That's why everything is written is for you to find out, why you will be punished. Because the current generation are always having this inquisitive mind, and then feeling like they are not quite happy, they find it very confusing that why they need to be punished. Punishment in Islam is justice, is to let you know, you disobey me, I will punish you, something like that. And normally it is only for those who are deterrent, those who are defying the law of God and God himself, then you will only be punished. Other than that, no. It's not like the civil law where even the civil law, sometimes you escape from being punished, because you are not caught. But in the case of Islam, there's no way that you can run away, because Allah is knower and Allah is seer of everything. You see, there's a difference there. So that's why these are the ones that should develop fear in your heart, because you cannot lie, you cannot cheat, you cannot hide, you cannot whisper in your heart and whisper to anyone, even to an ant. Even the ant whispering, the bacteria, the minutest things in this world, if they cry to Allah, Allah will listen to them. Okay? So this is just to inform us, how powerful He is. That's why He will make, and now He will also share with us about the reward, what heaven is and what hell is. So knowing that if Allah destroy the past and the present, nothing of His power will diminish. Can you imagine? If He destroy our past and He even destroy the present that we are going through now with the COVID, nothing of His power will diminish. It will still, in fact, after this, like I said, in the years to come, it will be worse than what you are going through now. The lockdown, the distancing, nothing lah. They will be worse to come, for your information, okay? And again, like I said, it's not a threatening thing. It's not to threaten you and make you regret. No, no. It's just to create an awareness. Be prepared. Whether you are prepared of the time that were to come or not, it will still come. Okay? Know that again the misfortune and trial which Allah gave His prophets and sin in spite of His power to repel them, which rulers and king is not capable of. Right? We know that. You see, rulers and king today, what they know about COVID-19? We have so many king and kong and rulers. But what do they know? What can they do? They all just say, okay, let's lock down. Let's try and fight. Together, we are going to be able to make it. Okay, lah, try lah. We are now still waiting, right, for the phase 3. Wallahu a'lam. So, the more one knows Allah, the more one will fear Him. So, the fearing, as I mentioned to you, it's not fear of threatening, but fear born out of love. You fear that He's not going to be pleased with you. That is the God fearing in Islam. Okay, before I move on again, any question? Anything you want to discuss? It doesn't have to be a question. You can discuss on the topic that I'm going through. I'm not reading through books now. I'm reading through the slides. I have the books in my hand. When it's necessary, only I will flip to the book. Because this slide is taken from the book itself. No question.
No, Ustaz.
So the internal root, is it very difficult? Internal root, is it very difficult? The thoughts of the worldly matters are not confined to one subject. It goes from one thought to another, isn't it? If they shut up their eyes, it does not do them any benefit. You can try. People sometimes wants to be more focused in the prayer, so they close their eyes. Right? It does not do them any benefit. The way to remove them is to take one's mind to understand what is recited in prayer and to stick to it after giving up all other thoughts, as mentioned. Right? The Prophet ﷺ once told Usman bin Ali Sahiba, I forgot to tell you to cover the screen of variegated colors in the room, because there should remain nothing in the house which can divert attention from prayer. That is during their time, of course. This, in our time, the challenge is still there. So if the rise of thought is not stopped by this method, then there is another easy method to prevent it. That is to cut off the root cause of the disease. It has been narrated that Abu Zaham presented a valuable dress of variegated colors in the Holy Prophet. He put it on and said the prayer. Afterwards, he took it off and said, take it to Abu Zaham, as it has diverted my attention from the prayer. So this is where we need to find out what are the root of what distract you from the prayer. So some have been mentioned here. You know that even some of the problems that we are going through, right? Even the king are not able to do anything about it. The rulers and the king. That's why that should develop a fear in us. Okay, let's move on. This is hope. Again, I've been reminding you, hope springs from have knowledge of Allah. Right. Of course not, right? If you don't know who you're talking to, the power of that person, the credibility of that person, you don't know anything. Like I said, some of these things we didn't have the chance to experience. Because not every one of us are able to reach to be seated with the president or the hierarchy here in the context of our society. So it's very obvious to understand that you will be, although politically we have just completed our polling, right? Our election. So you see, your hope there is based on the information, isn't it? So before the polling day, okay, all of these MPs or the grassroots leaders will go, even ministers will go onto the ground and tell you what they have done, blah, 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 blah. So this is about the spraying of from have knowledge. The spring will only spring when you have knowledge of the party, and that's why you vote them. So although as you can see, of course, time change again, generation change, people want something different. So it is the same thing we are talking here. The hope, you can ensure that the hope will be lively, right? The hope will spring if you have the knowledge of Allah's mercy. And again, you have the knowledge of His gift, what He has for you in store, His creation, and from remembering paradise through the prayer, as I just mentioned earlier. That will give you hope. That's why you are not moved by, even if you're staying next to a landed property, like in where in my area here, like last time my boss stayed Jalan Mat Jambul, 3-story landed property. You're not moved by whatever kind of life they are living to. Of course you are human being, you definitely will be touched by, your heart will still say that, Alamak, if I'm given the opportunity to be having that kind of house, of course everyone wants, right? So that fall under the category of WANT, but it doesn't fall under the category of MEAN. Remember? So I told you that God only provide us with the MEAN, the mean, right? Allah will not provide us with WANT. WANT is the effort that you have to put in, right? Somebody was at one time riding a bike, some more, what do you call that?
Scooter.
A very big bike, monkey bar, some more, whatever. Example, right? Once you know, it's not again about the money, it's not about uh, the name of the bike, Harley Davidson, but what the bike can perform. So this is the same thing here. When you talk about hope, then it will spring that you have the knowledge of that Harley Davidson bike. You know that it give you mercy, that bike give you mercy, that bike is also like a gift to you, and that bike creates a lot of things for you. But of course, it doesn't continue to give you to paradise. It doesn't have that. That's all. Having shame again comes from the having sense of shortcoming. These are actually some of the character that you should start when you want to do the prayer. You feel shame, you feel hope, fear, before even uttering Allah the greatest. Then you see the difference, if you don't believe what I say. Let's move on, boss. So the common point of this component is faith and certainty, yakin, right? Our mind can only become humble in proportion to our certainty. So it goes back to how you recognize your boss, in other words. You will become humble based on the proportion of how your boss treat you, how you get paid, how he can create many other things. Then that will create the certainty in him. Then you have faith in him. So your mind, then only you will be humble to him. You will humiliate yourself before him. You see, it's the same. If you want to apply what is being said here, which you are doing it to your bosses, but you're not doing it to your creator, boss of all bosses, unfortunately. As we learn in us, has this topic, Fas'alu al-zikr in kuntum law ta'alamun, as God himself want you to be asked. If you knew not this module, then that certainty, the yakin will not be there. And the yakin has a direct effect in our daily life. It has a direct effect. An example, this COVID has put us, all of us, in different stage of our yakin. That's why some may have lost the job and some yet to be losing. So if you don't have yakin in Allah Ta'ala, it's very scary to know what will happen to you. You will always be in fear. That's why the fear just now, right? Because it boils back onto your certainty. So these are the common things, that you have to ponder upon. If you have faith in him, sometimes when I ask, I myself was wondering, and how come people who have job, they feel very, very insecure and still have some basic salary given and still feeling insecure. What about people like us who totally doesn't have an income, especially when you talk about the monthly end of the month, where every people who are at work will be waiting for some kind of a reward. For people like us, we can only rely on our yakin, that's all. We believe that there are means and ways Allah will help us. Okay? Can be in many ways. Okay? It's up to you. So this is where the yakin have to be uplifted. You have to bring it up. Then you will have direct effect in your daily life as you move on. Yes, boss. And this is again some of the earlier prophets. This is narrated that Allah said to Musa alayhi salam, "O Musa, when you want to remember me in such a way that your limbs tremble." Because this is not expected from us, right? Even if it's not expected for us, that's why it's not something that you can make a proclaim. You can self-profess to say that, "Oh, I'm a mu'min." Even in the level of Muslim and mu'min, you can see the difference. If a mu'min, the moment they hear Allah, the limbs will tremble. And this is mentioned in the Quran. In Surah Al-Mu'minun, you can see that. Allah mentioned, "Innamal mu'minuna idza zukirallah wajilat qulubuhum wa idza tuliya ayatu zadat imana." If you're a mu'min, when Allah has been mentioned, he will tremble. So the same here, when Allah is talking to Musa alayhi salam, Allah is telling him, "Remember me in such a way that your limbs tremble and hold me dear at the time of remembrance and rest satisfied. When you remember me, keep your tongue behind your mind. When you stand before me with a fearful mind." See, not fear as I said in the threatening, but in a fearful mind like the meanest slave. And speak to me with the tongue of truthful men. Don't try to twist and say, "Allah, I repent. That is the lip service. The tongue saying, "I had say, Alamak, if I got the chance, I want to try." So it is related that Allah also revealed to him, "Tell your disobedient followers to remember me. I took an oath on myself that I shall remember anyone who remembers me." So this is the dialogue of Musa alayhi salam in the Quran. I forgot which chapter. If I'm not mistaken, it's in chapter 50. Chapter 50 got the story. There are four major stories that you can learn from the chapter 50, of the Quran. Okay? Can we continue, boss? Or is that the last one? So, an individual will be given the next world according to his qualities. Okay? The qualities of what? The qualities of his heart. Not of his body, not of you've been praying until you got knee problem, you got back problem. This is not what you're going to be rewarded. But it will be rewarded according to the qualities of your heart. Not your body, and nobody will get salvation except someone who comes with a sound mind. Or kalbun salim, they call it, with a sound heart. So what is the cure for this humbling of our heart? Let's move on. So these are some of the medicine mentioned in the Ihya Ulum book. You can, these are the internal root and talking about how you can uh, remove it. Okay. The first one is, from what we have read so far, a believer must declare Allah's glory. That's the first thing. That goes without saying. Every time you pray, you will utter Allah Akbar. That is also a form of glorification. Second, you have to fear Him, and third, have hope in Him and be ashamed of our sin before Him. Then, after becoming a believer, this is moving or shifting from the Muslim level into a mu'min level. Once you becoming a mu'min, a believer, then we should strive to keep these thoughts with us. So if the strength of such states is still proportionate with the strength of our yaqeen, there is no other cause for the lacking in prayer except random thoughts, heedlessness, absent-mindedness in divine closeness, and unmindfulness in the prayer. So these are some of the things. Some of the medicine in wanting to try and make our heart humble. So heedlessness in prayer is born out of engagement of the heart in various thoughts. So that's what happened to your heart become heedless. Because your heart is engagement in the various thoughts. The cure for keeping the heart present is to remove all thoughts and primarily to remove the cause of this thought. It's either external or internal. So external is what the incident that happened to Prophet Muhammad SAW, the destruction of, like now, our external will be TV, our mobile phone, cell phone, laptop, whatever, that is in our house. We have to remove that. Then the internal will be the memory bank, our mind. Okay. So the external cause is that a thought catches what the years, isn't it? Especially if you are fans of football, right? That will be the first thing you get distracted. Oh, the moment you hear the word goal, then your ears are opening so wide, your eardrum try to pick up, Then after that, it will distract the mind. The mind might be wondering, who is it, Manchester United or whatever, whoever, that win that match. That is the distraction of the ears. Then the eyes. And especially, like I said just now, in some places, your television is facing the Qibla, that makes things worse. Or perhaps when your prayer mat is being decorated with so many colors and design that you get to see when you are doing the prayer, then the heart turns to that thought. These are the external of what is the cause to you cannot concentrate in your prayer. So once if you get to hear and you get to see, that will produce the other thoughts that will distract the prayer. So the root of one thought is another thought. Okay, and when one's intention is fine, when intention is fine and aim is high, cannot be diverted by the actions of his limbs. So it boils back again with the intention, not the utterance that so many people, until you see them repeatedly, just focus on to try and uh, trigger the utterance and the heart together, and then it never works. So it goes back to the intention. If the intention is fine and your aim is high, then it cannot be diverted by the actions of the limbs. But someone who is weak, right? If your iman is weak, then you will fall prey to it. So it boils back to the iman. So the cure is not to cut off these roots by shutting the eyes, praying in the dark room, nor keeping anything in front of you, which may attract attention, and not praying in a decorated place or undecorated and praying mat. For this reason, Saint used to pray in the dark and narrow room. These are just effort, like I said. Although there are differences of opinion among the scholars, some says not too close, but here you can see these are the effort even practiced by saint, which is higher than the scholars who have differences of opinion about whether can be closed the eyes or open the eyes. Because as long as the reason, is to try and get full concentration in the prayer. So whether you pray in a bright room or a dark room, and because if this external cause will help you to gain the internal, then do it. Okay, because you are trying to give a medicine to your heart in order to make your heart becomes humble. Okay. So the internal cause again is more serious than the external. Okay, the internal cause to make the heart become concentration is more serious than the external. The thoughts of the worldly matters is one. Okay, the thoughts of the worldly matters. The thoughts of the worldly matters are not confined to one subject. You know that, right? Because before even we start our prayer, we already have so many things in our mind. So that's the reason why that you have to remember that once you start praying, then the one that comes to your mind will be not one. It doesn't confine to one. They go from one thought to another. So shutting the eyes does not help. Okay? The cure is to understand what you are reciting. Okay? The internal is, the cure is to understand what you are reciting in a prayer, and then stick to it after giving up all other things. Try to go back again to Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. As you are reading, your mind try to understand what you are saying. That's why, you have to be memorizing, like Surah Fatiha, most of the thing that you are doing in your daily prayer, right? You already memorized, like Subhanallah al-Azim wa bihamdi, Subhanallah al-Ala wa bihamdi. So just go there and try and find out what is the meaning, the inner meaning of what is being uttered. That will help. Thus the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam once told Usman ibn Abi Saybah radiallahu anhum, I forgot to tell you to cover the screen of colors in the room, because just now goes back to the earlier hadith, right? about what distracted him, because there should remain nothing in the house which can divert attention from the prayer. This is what how they try and attend to the internal distraction rather than the external distraction. So if the thought cannot be stopped by this method, there is another easy way to prevent it, which is to cut off the root cause of the disease. And this is related that Abu Jahm presented a valuable dress of various colors to the Prophet ﷺ, who put it on to the prayer and afterward took it off. So this is how you start learning to find out, what are the things that is going to distract, or the cause or the root cause of where you get distracted when you're doing the prayer. Like I said, sometimes you purposely know that you're going to do the prayer and yet you put your cell phone in front of your prayer mat. Do you think you can concentrate on your prayer? The moment, although it's on silent mode, the moment the phone buzzing or even you saw the light flicking, then your mind gets distracted. You knew there's a call coming. See, sometimes you are the one that finds fault. You don't want to get distracted in the prayer. How important also cannot be that your whatever you need to be attending to is more important than the God. Cannot be. Cannot be. Something's wrong in your mind if you were to think in that. And we know Islam is a religion that always gives, Islam always taught you to prioritize things. So when you're doing the prayer, you have to always remember that God should be above all. So before gold was prohibited, the Prophet ﷺ had a gold ring on his head. But while on the pulpit, the mimbar, he threw it away, saying, "My sight has fallen on it." Because he keep on looking. See, these are the root cause. You need to find to the root cause of what distracts your prayer. And that's why you can still see in the context of our society, some people will take the white cloth and cover the prayer mat. Not because of dirty. He wants to get full concentration even when he's in the mosque. So it is said that Abu Talha radiallahu anhu once prayed in his own garden, which pleased him so much that he forgot how many rak'at he did. He then mentioned to the Prophet ﷺ that he wished to give it away. Can you imagine? Give away, his garden because it distracts his prayer. We are not asked to do that. Don't give up your house just because of the house distracted you. And cannot be that our house distracted us. We are not up to that level. Any more, boss?
Yes, sir, a bit more. Just let me check.
So, used to cut off the root cause and prevent the This is what they do. Okay? This is the medicine to cure the disease of the heart. So without cutting off the root, as I just mentioned earlier, the root of the disease, as an example, it will be like a tree with numerous birds making tremendous noise. If you drive them away, they fly away for a while and they will return to make even more noise. The permanent solution is to cut off the tree. So that's how you attend to the problems if you are facing in your day-to-day prayer. So likewise, attachment to a thing may temporarily be removed from the heart, but it will come again and disturb you. Attachment to the world is the root of all thoughts and the primary cause of all losses. If one wants to peaceful mind in prayer, he should cut off all attachment to the world. And as I said just now, sometimes you purposely put your cell phone in front. So that means you are looking for trouble. So if one is engaged in the worldly matters, and phone is about the worldly matter, the angel is not going to call you, or neither to Allah is going to call you, right? So no point of putting your phone in front. So if you are engaged in this worldly matter, it should not expect to delight in the prayer. Okay? You should not expect to delight in the prayer. So these are the cause that you need to find in order to cure the disease of that. So this is some of it. The internalizing different parts of the prayer. It begins with the azan, different side, different item of the prayer. Azan, when you hear the call to the prayer, it is also like a call on resurrection day. So you are asked to prepare yourself inwardly and outwardly for replying and make haste. For those who respond in haste to this call will be answered with mercy on that cheerful day. Then the cleanliness. Again, when you keep your praying clothes pure and clean, your body and cloth clean, but do the same for your mind. Make it pure of evil ideas and thoughts as far as possible. Repent for what you have failed to do and determine not to repeat it in the future. Then about covering of the nakedness, again, it means to cover your private part from the sight of others. As Allah looks at your heart, cover its fault, not that it is not hidden from Allah, no matter how you cover. Your repentance, your shame and fear will expiate them. So stand before Allah like a slave who has repented and returned to his master, bowing his head in shame and fear. Facing the Kaaba, the meaning of turning your face to the Kaaba is, it means to turn your heart to Allah after turning it away from all directions. So you are asked to, in order to just be in one, to lower down your gaze and look right in front of you, meaning like your the directions of the Kaaba is not that you have to face the Kaaba, unless if you are there in Makkah al-Mukarramah. But here it means to turn your heart to Allah. And then, because before that you are turning it away from all directions and all evil thoughts. But the Prophet said, when a person stands in prayer and directs his hope, face and heart to Allah, he comes out of his prayer as innocent as he was on the day of his mother gave birth to him. Standing in prayer again means that the external meaning is to stand before Allah, right, in body and mind. So you should lower your head, as I mentioned earlier, which is higher than your other limbs. So this symbolizes the mind's freedom from all conceit and pride. To stand before him as you would stand before him, before some earthly king. Then comes the intention, the niyat. Promise firmly that you will respond to God's order. Okay? Promise firmly that you will obey Allah's command and through prayer and perfection. Make your intention sincerely for him. Keep in mind of who you are speaking to secretly, how you are speaking and what you are speaking about. That is when after you state the intention. The takbir, as I explained already, when your tongue utter, do not let your mind speak falsehood. If there's anything in your mind greater than Allah, He will attest that you are a liar. And then the opening of the dua, the iftitah, the opening innovation, it begins with, I have turned my face to the Creator of heaven and earth, and this means the face of your heart, not the physical face. I'm not of polytheist because you are a believer. Beware of the mind when you say that, hidden polytheism, who does act of worship seeking both the pleasure of Allah and people praise. Be careful of that. Then my life and my death, inna salati wa nusuki, lillahi rabbil alamin, are for Allah. So this again is a state of slave who value the existence of his master more than his own. And then lastly, a'udhu billahi minash shaitan rajim. I seek refuge in Allah. You should give up your low desires and temptation and seek refuge in the foot of Allah, abandoning the foot of shaitan. Then this is the Quran. People are of three classes. Reading this letter, men are three classes. He who moves his tongue, but his mind is heedless. Second, he who moves his tongue and his mind follows his tongue. This is the rank of the fortunate. Thirdly, he whose tongue is directed first towards understanding the meaning, and then his mind takes his tongue as its servant. Tongue will give expressions of the mind. Be careful. The other parts will be when you say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of Allah, the beneficent merciful, seek first the favor of Allah. And when you say Malik Yawmiddin, he is master of the day of judgment, understand that there is no power except Allah and fear his judgment. Then express your helplessness by saying Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Right? You alone we serve and you alone we seek for help. Understand that religious acts do not become easy except with his assistance. Then the Prophet said, Allah remain with the person who is praying as long as he does not look to and fro. It is your duty to restrain your mind in prayer from all thoughts other than Allah. Remind yourself that Allah sees you. Okay? Keep fear of Allah in your mind. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu used to stand in prayer just like a statue. Can you imagine? Even some narration said even birds can be standing onto them. Pray as though it is your farewell prayer, feeling a sense of fear and shame because of the defect in your prayer. Fearing that your prayer may not be accepted and that it may be thrown at your face with your secret sin. The person who prays will inherit paradise, directly see the divine light and enjoy the happiness of nearness. Will someone who is inattentive in prayer attain his reward? And it has been said that prayer belongs to the next world. So when you enter prayer, exit the world, because it belongs to the next world. Imam Abu Darda radiallahu anhu said, an indication of a man's religious understanding is that he enters prayer, he attends to his need so that he can pray with a mind-free thoughts. Abu Aliyah was once asked, what is the meaning of heedlessness in prayer? He said, one commit mistake in one prayer and does not know how many rak'at one has prayed. While Hassan al-Basri said that it is when one forgets the time of the prayer. Wallahu a'lam bisawab. We will stop here. Then inshallah we will go into about the Imam in the next lesson. Thank you very much. Any question?
Have Ustaz.
Sorry?
I've got a question.
Please.
But this one is a bit not on the context lah.
No worries.
Okay. I think earlier on you did mention that Muslim will not be rich in this dunya, whereas the non-believer will. Okay, but if let's say those Muslim in the current world right now, does that mean that they are living their life without piety, without their iman, Ustaz?
You
If
can,
based on this statement, Ustaz. If based on this statement,
yeah, you can check. What normally, yes, you can say that. I mean, even if they were to do, it's just a bodily thing, or rather fulfill what they find is compulsory. Nothing much, is it? It's a question of how they do it is where you need to find out. We are not passing judgment, but it's not that you can't be rich and in this world and at the same time be rich in the hereafter. That is not true also. You can, but you must know that if you have been rich in this world, it is meant for the people that is still who has the share to your richness, which is normally not many rich people wants to do that. What is your take on that?
normally when you got more, you tend to give less, you want to keep more lah.
So this is where you are wrong, because if Allah make you rich in this world, it has whatever that richness that is with you, there is an equal share for others who are in need of it.
Understand, Ustaz. But where I'm coming from is right now you don't have it. You can see all this type of thing, but when you have it, the scary part is, you go the other way around.
Exactly. So that's why the religion is never, it doesn't prohibit. Allah, I didn't find any verses of the Quran that in totality forbid the Muslim from being rich. No, you are wrong. Never. That has never been what is being said. It only reminds you that you will be rich in the hereafter too, right? Where that richness is going to be forever, everlasting, in comparison to the richness that you have in this worldly matter. And I think all of us agree, and all of us also knew that no matter how rich you have tons of gold and this and that, you know that you're not going to be able to bring it with you. So you will be questioned for the rich, why are you hoarding? Hoarding. You're hoarding. It is a very serious thing that, especially if it is gold that you're holding, then it will be melt on the day of judgment, then they will iron that gold onto your body for holding the gold. Because it's meant for the world. Whatever we earn here, right, is meant for the world. Right? I mean, I'm talking about the material thing. Okay? But we also have to work hard here in order to reap the harvesting in the hereafter.
Okay.
Right? So it's not true if you say that you cannot be rich. No. You have to follow the advice of Prophet. That's why he says that the best, he said, Khairul umur Shoutuha. That is the best, he said. The best in everything, he said, is to be moderate. If you understand, I have repeated this many times also, moderation is not easy because it has the three things there. It has been defined that you have to be just, you have to be balanced, and you have to be excellent. And then if you go into all these three individually, you will find that not many of us who are just. There's a lot of unfairness to, some we get what we want, we don't share. So there is no justice already there, right? Then you talk about balance. You will find that again, most of us, when you give more work, more money, they will go to that. They will bend to that. But not the other way around, to balance it with more prayer, more this, more that. No. See, you are not balancing whatever they are doing. And lastly, to be excellent. It's impossible you can be excellent in two areas.
it is impossible.
Yes, isn't it? You can be excellent in the worldly matter because to be acknowledged as a person of the excellence character is not, it will not come in one day, isn't it? It may take your whole life, to reach that level of excellence, right? Hello?
Yes, Ustaz. Yes, Ustaz. I'm here.
Can you understand?
Yeah.
Because just imagine, you can be excellent in whatever, or let's put it, achievement of whatever that you're working. Can you uh, be excellent in your work at the same time your character, your performance, your punctuality, that is what excellent means there, when you are at work. It's expected. At the same time, can you be excellent in making sure that you do your prayer on time and read the Quran and this and that? So that is the excellence about the hereafter. You have to strike a balance on these both. So that is the reason why, like I said just now, Allah will not make you rich materially because of the nafs that He has innate in you and me. That He knows that you're going to have problem in being able to deprive it or oppress it, and that's where you're going to lose everything. And this has been proven in history. The Quran show us about even angel fail when that angel tell Allah, if you make me a human being, I will become better than them. Harut and Marut, if you have heard of this. Have you heard of these two?
I don't think so.
You should read. This Harut and Marut is about the two angels who condemn and laugh at us and tell that you are so stupid. You have feelings, you have this, Allah gave you this and that, and yet you don't know how to thank Him. But when Allah, answer to what is requested by this angel, then they fail the test. In fact, they are worse than us. So you see, the greatest test in us, okay, beside the other external, right, the internal part, right, the greatest test is your nafs. Because we keep on forgetting that nafs is part of us. It's not an external component, As what we went through just now, most of the external thing you can, you can remove it, you can put it away, right? But nafs is inside you, is internal. So the only way that you can deal with the nafs is taqwa, is being pious, and of course with the help of Allah, without which also you will find that you will lose. And this can be seen in history, You read about Barsisa, you read about Abid, who's very pious in the middle of the jungle, and the test come and these three brothers want to go to war and leave their sisters, and then he raped the sisters, pregnant the sisters, and then kill the child and kill that lady too, and at the same time he's being killed by the brothers. You see what happened? This is all about temptation. Many of us doesn't worried about this. And Allah Himself mentioned that in the Quran to remind us in An-Nafs Amara Bisuk in Surah Yusuf. Your nafs is inside you and that's why there are people who make an attempt to kill the nafs. You kill your nafs, you kill everything. Okay? If you kill your nafs, if you kill your desire, you will kill everything. You will not want to get married, you will not want this, you will not want that, because it's all part and parcel of you. It's part of you. Unlike Satan, Satan is an external. It comes and goes. As we went through that earlier, right? He has the power of just whispering, and keep on pressurizing you, whispering in your ear, do, until you do, and then he retreat and say, hey, I didn't ask you to do, I only, hey, come on now, let's face the truth, man. I only say it, why you go and do it? You see? But your nerves, it doesn't back off. If you don't tame this nerve, it becomes, as what the verse said, it's even more violent than uh, a wild beast. That's why the Quran says, إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ فَلَهُمْ أَجْرٌ غَيْرُ مَمْنُونٍ. In that verse, خَلَقَ الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ ثُمَّ رَدَدْنَاهُ أَسْفَلَ سَافِلِينَ. I have created you perfect, but then you bring yourself lower than an animal. Animal we knew is a wild beast, and they are not given mind. They have brain. It's without mind, so they can't think. Okay, but human, you are able to think. You are able to make decision. So if you bring yourself, what do you call it? You transgress, or rather you challenge. You want to be a defiance, right? Then you are worse than an animal, because animal they cannot think, so they will not be held responsible. If they bite you, if they kill you, they won't be questioned. Allah, why you kill my servant? No, no question. You have been told animal is without mind, they cannot think. So don't mess around with even small animal like cats, dog. Never underestimate. That's why in legal in fiqh you will know that these all are being categorized as animal, and we have been said that we have this animalistic instinct in us. We got water, we got fire in our elements, the elements in our body. We have been told. Unlike the animal, they are not been told. So they can be making mistakes. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. If that
Yes,
is the
Ustaz.
answer they are looking for, lah. Unless if you have any other answers that you are looking for.
Ustaz, if let's say when we are given riches, okay, and not all of it is for us. Some of it is meant to be given away. So the word here is some of it, or rather, what is the benchmark, or in terms of giving back to the society, or you just, there's no limit, you just give as much as.
You can do it both. If you give as much, you never come across any report about people who are being charitable becomes poor. Have you? Not even to Bill Gates, as you know. He's been very generous, right? You read about him. Right? I don't know much about him. Am I not right?
Yeah. So, sir, is it like when you like to give to, sincerely lah, you give for his cause under his name. So that is why the reason is he will give you more lah, so that actually you can give to more people lah, you can reach out to more people. Is that a logic?
Yes. Right. That's why first thing that we thank Allah that we are not rich. Because when you are rich, and then you will know that stinginess will come, and you wouldn't want to share. You will always turn around the table and say, I make myself rich, I work for it. But you forgot, the risky is Allah is the one that gives you. When you were born, you don't have money, you don't have bank, you don't have credit card, right? The effort that you put in is where you have all these things in the material thing created by human. And how can you claim that it's yours? You're supposed to share, isn't it? But like I said, that's why sometimes Imam Ghazali, I think in all other chapter later you will come across these things. He says it is best to be poor than rich because the test of the rich, they normally will fail. They are not able to fulfill. But the test for a poor, there's nothing to give one.
Hmm.
You cannot be stingy. If you are poor, you're stingy, you're even worse than the rich. It's always the poor that wants to be giving, isn't it? The rich, like give $10 is already too much. The simplicity, Hermanto, you need to remember when you talk about giving, right, or being charitable, which is known as sadaqatul jariyah. Sadaqatul jariyah means that the reward is flowing until the day of judgment. You know? Can you imagine? The contribution that you do, if it fall under the category of sadaqatul jariyah, the reward is flowing until the day of judgment. Like example, you erect a mosque. As long as that mosque stands, until the day of judgment, the reward will flow even it goes to the different committee that runs the mosque. Okay? But, it's very simple. Like, doesn't mean that being charitable until nothing in your wallet. $10 also don't have, this is wrong. That is not being charitable. That one means you want to become a bankruptcy. No, 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 no. I mean,
But Ustaz, sorry to cut you. But if let's say you give everything lah, but you're not complaining, it's like okay, let's put this just for an argument's sake lah. You have let's say 1 million and you decide to give every single cent, not a single cent you want, you just give away and you're not complaining. So like that, how is that?
there's a lot. But it's very rare people will not
Yalah.
see whatever they give. There are such generous people. There are still such generous people. It's just that because of they are being generous, they do not publish. These are the people again. Okay, this is where you know whether the person is sincere in really giving that sadaqah. If he is sincere, he will not make an announcement, so nobody knows, and he bear whatever the consequences that he have to, because he has decided to give everything. Right? That is again the yaqeen, the reliance level, the tawakkul is very high. It's enough just to. That's why you saw this verse becomes like a model, or rather becomes like something that is being used in most business industry, which they call it the verse of 1,000 dinar. That is Surah Talaq, wa may yattaqillah, because that is what the verse promises you. If you have faith in Allah, wa yarzuquhu haythu la yahtasib, Allah will, provide back whatever the losses without you knowing it. Right? But how many are willing to take that challenge? Most of us are very calculative. You just observe in the mosque when the transparent plastic box is being pushed among the congregants. You see, they know that they have like big notes. But you can see clearly the stinginess of human beings, how calculative they are. So this kind of sadaqah, although Allah is not looking at the amount that you gave, the sincerity. So you can see the insincerity is already there. So even if you were to give a big amount, then you will not get any reward. Be careful of that. Be careful of that. Most of the people today, you can see before they enter the mosque, they take the smaller note, $2 or $10 or $5 to put it on the pocket. So when the donation box move around, they know that they don't have to be digging their wallet for bigger note. You see, that means you are really not sincere there. You have a portion. You have create a portion that you wanted to give the sadaqah. Like now the reward system that you can do the pay now. Normally, even if you didn't notify whoever that you're paying, right? The bank will send a note to say, okay, this is from Mr. So and so giving a small token to you. I see, and enough to do that. At least your conscience are clear. You are contributing, and the person that received that email from the bank will raise their hand and say, "Oh Allah, please reward the person here and the hereafter." Which you find that normally, again, even in this context, you can see like I said just now, it's not about the figure that counts here, but the sincerity of what you want to be giving. Imagine, if you were to think of the reward, just like reading the Quran, the Prophet ﷺ says, when you recited Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, it's not that Bismillahirrahmanirrahim is one and then you get that fine. No, Allah calculate from Ba, Sin, Mim, Alif, Lam, Lam, Ha. Every alphabet is been read, you get $10. So if you read Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, is 19 alphabet. So 10 times 19, how much?
190.
You imagine? Do you think people will be counting in that way? Tak ini muka $10 support lah. It's a pyramid movie. Some of they hint the rich. In terms of donation, people are very calculated. And then again, coming back to the word wasatiyah, as I said, you find that it doesn't strike the balance. Okay, an example of this, in contributing for religious study, right, the amount normally, I think even for Shoutul, I warned my boss, I said, don't fix any price. But look at the contribution. I think you ask him, he can tell you. Okay, there are some that goes direct to my pay now, but some goes to Shoutul Muslim Bank, right? Look at the amount. So you see, what is important? Okay, let's divert that into the things that you like. You want to buy a computer, you want to buy something that is very, very expensive, right? You will not have a second thought. Once you have that budget, immediately the next thing you do is just get it. Even in today, you can just order online and tomorrow it will be sent right on your doorstep. But when it comes to religion, you can still see people contemplate, should I be giving so much, or why making rich and this and that, astaghfirullah and others. So, you see, when you talk about that wasatiyah, you can already see there's an imbalance in whatever that you're doing in your day-to-day life. You're not being fair to Allah. When you want the things that you want, W-N-T, Allah gives you normally. Because it's the striving, it's the effort that you put in it. You want to have a good laptop, you want to have, a good cell phone. Who is stopping you? Nobody is stopping you. But when it comes to religion, why are you calculating? Sometimes to buy a book, $30 is very expensive. In comparison to your cell phone that you can pay for $1,000 over dollars, to buy a religious book that guarantees you the reward here and the hereafter, but then you are calculating. So this is how you know whether you are a servant of Allah or not. First thing, we must always remember, we are being created with a mission given to us by Allah. From the verse in Surah Az-Zariyat, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونِ. So this verse first tell you, learn how to be Allah's servant. Learn that, because once if you know how to be his servant, you will be close to him, and once you are close to him, you will automatically be close to his creation. Ada hubungan intim in Malay dia cakap. And that's why the hablu min Allah have to be established. Hablu min Allah will lead into hablu min nas. If your relation with Allah is good, then the rest of your, whoever is around you will also be good to you. Wallahu a'lam. So I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Ustaz.
Okay. Any other question?
Assalamualaikum, Ustaz.
Salam Huma.
I wanted to ask a question. This one is off the topic line. It's not from the topic you asking. You are discussing.
Yes.
Ustaz, because now is already first of Hajj, right? So I wanted to ask,